So I got something interesting to show you guys. I got a little sproutlet right there. It's growing out of my hemp bedding. So I don't know if we got cannabis growing from our substrate that we use for snakes. Is that possible? Check out this video. Hey guys, welcome to another video here at Cloud Colubrids. I'm filling up my coffee pot with some freshly ground coffee beans, trying to set the mood for the video. And this video is going to be about snake substrates. So we're going to be talking about snake bedding and substrate. You know, I have a lot of snakes, and if there was just one bedding that was perfect for every snake every time, then I probably wouldn't even be doing this video. You wouldn't need it. But I do encounter problems from time to time, so I've been testing out different beddings, and I found out things about certain beddings that are good and certain things that are bad. So I'm gonna spread that knowledge to you guys, and if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them at the end, because this is a topic that I think people are gonna want to talk about. With that, I hear my coffee percolating. I'm gonna fill up the cup and we're gonna get to this video. It's gonna be a good one, so stay tuned. Enjoy, and let's enjoy together. Alright, so the first bedding substrate that I'm going to show you guys, it's one of the newer ones that I've been using. This one is Royal Hemp bedding, and it's the gold standard, and you can see what it looks like. It's got a nice texture to it. It has a really nice feel to it, you know, and it actually, something that I really like about it, it smells really good. I don't know, it has like a sweet smell to it. Not really sweet, but it's just different. Different smell than the Aspen. Something that I really like about this bedding, it's a little bit more absorbent than the Aspen. So if you have a snake that may not need a lot of humidity like a boa or a python, but you have a colubrid, it might have a problem shedding, a small snake, this is perfect because you can probably spray it down a little bit, give it a little bit of humidity, and that'll help the snake. Now you don't have to spray it. It's already not as dry as the Aspen. The Aspen's really dry, so that might help you just for a snake that needs help with shedding. Another great thing about this, it eliminates the odor. Like when you're dealing with Aspen, you could smell the odor after the snake goes to the bathroom. It hits you. With this, you don't really smell it at all. And again, this is for a small snake. If you have a big snake, I haven't tested it on any really big snakes, so I'm sure a snake that goes to the bathroom that's a big snake, you're gonna smell it no matter what, but it definitely absorbs. And I really do like the product. You can see I just started to use it and I'm almost done with this bag already. So now we're talking about some of the negatives of the hemp bedding. There's going to be good and bad with everything. This bedding is a little bit more expensive than Aspen. If you have a small collection, it won't make a difference. But if you have a big collection like me, it's going to cost a little bit more, but it's not really expensive where you can't afford it. I mean, it's just a couple of bucks more a bag. And one of the other negatives, it's a little bit harder to find. Actually a lot harder to find. Unless you go on a reptile expos or ordering online, you're probably not going to find this in your local pet store. Now the last negative that I can think with using this product, it's harder to spot clean. It's harder to clean. When you open the bin, you don't really smell any odors. It's hard to find where the feces is. The Aspen is just a little bit easier to clean. Now, as you can see, this guy just pops on this bedding, and he just had a perfect shed. I haven't had a snake have a bad shed on this bedding, and you don't smell it at all. It's just a really good product to work with, and the snakes just really seem to like it, and they look great on this bedding. So I was lucky enough to come across a vendor at last year's Daytona Expo. I was walking by and I saw these beautiful ball pythons. I don't have any, but they were just really nice looking. I still like looking at them. And they were called Creme de la Clutch. That was the vendor, Creme de la Clutch. Check them out. They have a YouTube channel as well. And he saw me, I had interest in this hemp bedding, the royal hemp bedding. So I told him I have a YouTube channel, and he said, take a bag, do a review on it, test it out, give an honest review. So that's what I did. I'm doing a review on all substrates, but I definitely wanted to include this one, and I want to give a shout out to Creme de la Clutch. If you love ball pythons or you just want some of this hemp bedding, check them out. And if you stay watching to the end of this video, I did a test. I sprayed hemp bedding, I sprayed aspen bedding, I put it in a container, and I have some results to show you. You might be shocked, but that's going to be at the end of the video. And now the next bedding we're going to be talking about is aspen. That's probably the most popular bedding with people that have snakes, especially breeders. It's cheap, it's easy to get, it's everywhere. You go to the reptile shows, you go to the pet store, they sell it everywhere. And if you don't know what it is, take a look. It's really dry. It's got some dust to it, especially when you're cleaning out the bin and you top it over. You're gonna see some dust. And something that I really like about aspen, the snakes can burrow and make tunnels, and it holds the tunnels. If you look on the bottom of your tank or bin, you could actually see tunnels that are built, and they form and they stay like that. So when the snake wants to go back under, he already has his tunnels built. It's really good. And it clumps, so when the snake goes to the bathroom, it's easy to spot clean. You literally could just pick it out, and it's easy to see because the aspen, it's really light colored. So aspen's great if you have a desert style snake, or a snake that doesn't need high humidity, like a king snake, a corn snake, a rat snake. Not all rat snakes, but most of the king snakes. Aspen's perfect. It's dry, it's not humid, and something that's great about it, if the snake ingests a little bit of, you know, when the snake goes to eat the mouse has a little bit of moisture. Some aspen might collect on it. Try not to let it collect too much, but it could eat a little bit of it, and it's not going to harm the snake. So now let's talk about some of the negatives, the cons of aspen bedding. It's really dry, so sometimes some snakes are real sensitive, and it's a little too dry for certain snakes. There's no humidity, and they might have a problem shedding. Now, one of the biggest cons about using aspen bedding, aspen molds really quickly. Now, if you can catch it the same day, you're fine, but if you go a day or two, say you go on a little trip, you come back, if there's wetness in the aspen, you're gonna see mold all over the aspen. So that's pretty much the biggest negative to it. Alright guys, so the next bedding that I'm gonna be reviewing here is the Reptichip coconut premium coconut substrate. And this brand is Reptichip. They have so many brands. Reptichip's one of the more popular ones. And I just started using Reptichip about a month ago, and I just love Reptichip. You know, I'm using it because I had snakes that had issues shedding. I had one snake that had a respiratory infection and was giving me shedding problems. He recovered from the respiratory infection on his own, but now that I'm using Reptichip, he's giving me perfect sheds. And any snake that needs more humidity, like a ball python, a boa, this is pretty much top of the line, top of the line. If you need it to be humid, just spray it down. You could spray it and it's not gonna mold. It will not mold, and you just spray it down, get it nice and moist, and it's just perfect. The snakes love it, and the best part is when you open that bin, you get that hit of odor. It's just like the most pleasant smell. I love the smell of that, this coconut substrate. I had a snake that went to the bathroom. I didn't know he went to the bathroom because it smelled like flowers. Maybe not like flowers, but it smelled really good. It absorbed the odor like no other bedding that I've had. Honestly, the only con to this is the price. It's a lot more expensive. If it wasn't that expensive, I'd probably use it on more of my snakes. But I love Reptichip. I really don't have anything negative to say about the product. It's just a little bit more expensive. Other than that, buy some because it's worth it. Alright, so I told you guys I had something to show you. I tested out the hemp and the aspen bedding. I'm gonna go show you what I'm talking about right now. So my quick test, I have my aspen on the left and the hemp on the right. I'm gonna spray it down with water and cover it for 1 to 2 weeks. So that's how I started the test. Misted down these little deli cups filled with the substrate, and I closed them. They do have holes, breathable holes, and I left it for about 2 weeks. So this is the aspen. Show you what happened with the aspen. Nothing happened. It didn't mold. It's really surprising because whenever my aspen gets wet in the bins, it molds. In this, it didn't mold. I don't know how it didn't mold. Maybe this was the magical batch of aspen, but it didn't mold, so that's that. Now, what I expected to happen was the aspen was gonna mold and the hemp bedding didn't mold. Well, I was wrong. Check this out. Now, this is the aspen. I said aspen, I meant hemp. This is the hemp. You could see mushrooms growing in here, all kind of weird things. Now let's open it up. Yeah. Check out the mold on the top. It's disgusting. Now, it even has, it has a, look at that, look real closely. I think I'm growing hemp. Check it out. Wow. Actually, that might be a good thing, but that's another video. So it molded, and it's growing something. So I'm gonna let it grow. I'm gonna put it in a planter and see what happens, and I'm gonna give you an update on that. This might be something, we might be onto something here, but that's another video. So the hemp molded. It never molded in my bins. The aspen molded every time it got wet in my bins, but in this test it was opposite. So I don't know if it was just the situation that it's in a deli cup with very limited ventilation, because when it's in my bin it doesn't mold. From what we might be onto something. I'm gonna take an empty bin. I'm gonna do another test. I'm gonna spray the hemp bedding with no snake in it. I'm just gonna leave it for a week or two, and we're gonna do a recording of that. I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. Maybe when it's actually in the rack with normal ventilation, it doesn't mold. And we're gonna see what happens. Now, I'm just amazed. We actually have plants growing in here. I really, does anybody know, can you grow this using the actual hemp bedding? I mean, maybe there's seeds in there, I don't know. Interesting. I'll be in Orlando this weekend. I'm gonna be at the Orlando Repticon. I was there for not the last Repticon, but the one before that. I believe it was in January. If you want to check that video out, I'll leave you the link in this video. You can go check it out. I'm gonna leave it above. Just click that card. It was a great show. Really, really great show. And people are starting to come out to these shows more and more. So I'm excited to go there this weekend. I got my car. I'm going to take a nice drive up to Orlando, and it's going to be great. I'm going to record it. And if you guys have any questions or comments about that, leave them. So with that, be safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.